Uh, okay, welcome to this episode of the Deep Stone Podcast. I am joined once again by Nick and Proto, aka John. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Thank you.
All right, and it's been a
We love you,
pretty,
Nick.
yeah,
What?
it's been a pretty quiet week in Destiny. Besides the Hawk Moon, being brought back into the game. It caught everybody off guard, I'd say, because everybody thought this gun was going to come out in January, but here it is. So let's start with getting your initial thoughts. Whoever wants to start with that on the quest.
So I got on the quest pretty much as it launched right away, and just the initial steps of the actual quest have you like go out and try to figure out what like the flavor text has like a hint of where you can find these quest items, and it was actually a lot of fun to just go around and search for them, and I was like messaging the local chat on PC like for just random players in the patrol zones and trying to figure out like everybody was going like, oh, what can this mean, and what do you think this means, and actually finding them as we went along. So that step already was like one of the best things I can remember, because usually it's the one where you can see exactly it's pointing you to a location. You go there, you kill the mans, go to the next GPS location, but this was a little bit different. So I enjoyed that, and then obviously all the story beats afterwards where you go into the different locations that like expand on places you've already been were just fantastic. I felt like it was probably the best exotic quest I can remember in this game.
What about you, John?
Yeah, I echo that massively. So I managed to do the first three on my own. It was so the one on the moon. I had no freaking clue what I was doing with that one. So that was definitely I had to look that one up. And then I think the Dreaming City one as well. So that they're the two that I had to get help with. But the others were like scouring the map anywhere that's got Grove in the title.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's nowhere here. And I was like, is it going to be in other places? So I was like, right, let's start on Earth first. And thankfully, I found it there. So, but the steps were great, and I'm sure lots of people will talk about it, and hopefully we'll skip over it quite quickly. But getting to see where the crow goes to the toilet was interesting. Getting to see the sword on the wall and all the little lore bits in what was his home. It wasn't the freight that we were expecting. It was a nice little hovel built into the dam and stuff, but it was really good. And it made him more. I know he's not human, but it made him more human, more relatable, because he'd been through these trials. He didn't know what was going on. He knew people hated him. He didn't know why. And it was good. So it just did feel like there's a bit of a time difference though, because it's like this is the sword that belonged to Osiris, to the knight that knocked Osiris on his horse, but that was only 3 weeks ago for us, and then he went straight to be with Crow. But he's saying that sword belongs to that knight. So does he travel to Earth on his days off and lives on Earth, or does he live on the Tangled Shore? It's a bit. I'd like to understand that timeline of how quickly or slowly that happened, because for us it was only 3 weeks ago, but for him it seems like it's a big passage of time has happened since he rescued Osiris and got accepted by Spider. So, what about you, Dimitri?
Well, I think that's an interesting point that I didn't think about actually. So, you know, that's a fair point. I definitely really enjoyed the quest. I had a good time with the lore of it. I've always liked Crow as a character. I think he's one of the best written characters in Destiny history. Uh, I mean, it also goes to show how poorly written some other characters are, but I've always really enjoyed him being on screen or his story being told because it's just very, you can associate very well with it. Like, it doesn't matter if you hate him or you love him. You can have a very good understanding of his feelings and all that just because the game tells him so well. So the quest I think was an A plus. Like I really enjoyed it. Now the boss fight at the end of the quest did drive me crazy, but not in
Yeah.
like a bad way. I just was having a really hard time with it. I failed like 6 times in a row.
Mm.
But
So, question on that:
yeah,
is it because Masker Backrus got nerfed? Is that what it was? Is that why he kept dying?
that is clearly what
Yeah,
was the
I thought
They
it
problem.
saw
was.
him coming.
Absolutely.
The
Wow,
Taken
wow,
guy
wow,
was,
wow,
yeah.
wow, wow. I died twice on it. To be fair, though, it was like, oh, throw that at him. Oh no, it's going to take two. Oh, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Then the
the
second
thing.
time round, I just it was all right.
Yeah.
So
My problem was everything shooting at me at once, and the scions kept fucking replicating. So that was the issue. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't really rate those kind of problems as like against the quest. Like, it was tough. It was really tough, and that's a good thing. Like, it
yeah,
should be. So I had a friend on Xbox who will rename he'll remain nameless, but he was bitching and moaning about it. And my thing is like, if you're gonna bitch and moan about it, that's not gonna help you get it done. Like, just like take a second and think about your strategy, and maybe change up your strat. Maybe your strat's just not working. So I
Yeah.
had to rethink my strat big time because I was fucking up a lot, and it was my fault. So like, I was raging a little, but I wasn't raging at the game. I was just like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Like, so I had to change up my strategy, but once I changed it up, I finally got it done, and it felt good to get it done. And
Mm.
I liked following that hawk across like the gorges and the chasms and all that. That was
Yeah.
really cool. And obviously, we all like to see new regions of the EDZ and all that. And uh, I never. I'll be honest, listeners. I played on Xbox in Destiny 1, so Hawkmoon was not as big to me as it was to like PlayStation users because they got it first, and we didn't get it until the end of Destiny's life cycle. So like, I wasn't as emotionally attached to the gun. I liked the way it looked. I only played with it for a couple months until D2 came out, but I still felt that sense of like nostalgia to see the gun like on the rock and being like, whoa, and then you
Yeah.
get it, you're like, wow, and then it sounds so good.
Mm.
It sounds just like any like awesome D1 hand cannon.
So,
So yeah.
yeah. So going like the actual gun, how do you like it so far?
Eh.
And the
Well,
change, we were talking about that a lot before it came out. What do you reckon?
I'm not the biggest fan of the change. I mean, I never was. I was always skeptical. It's fine. Like, I don't think it's trash. I think we need to remember that the gun's not at its full potential yet.
Sure.
Obviously, we're waiting for the random rolls, and then I've checked out some of the random rolls, and I think easily the best one is opening shot. I think that would be nasty with this gun. So that or killing wind.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I don't like that you lose the perk if you switch your gun when you have one bullet left. That reminds me of like the Ace of Spades nerf, and I still don't like it. Like, it's just kind of lame. But it's good. I think it's a good gun. I think the catalyst has to increase the mag size. That's my biggest problem with the gun right
Mm.
now.
is
Eight
there a catalyst
shots.
slot on it?
There is well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, there is a
yeah,
catalyst
looks like
slot
it,
on it. Yes.
yeah.
Or well, okay, well, it's not on the gun yet, but it's listed in the game, and it's just not out yet.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I
people
knew there was
imagine that's
one
gonna
in the
come out.
files. I just didn't see one on the weapon, so that's why I was like, what?
Yeah,
Because
but we don't have.
lots of
Oh,
weapons
okay.
have catalysts against a gun, and they've never had a catalyst. So
Yeah,
it's not guaranteed that we'll get one. So
I
Hmm.
think it needs a catalyst. I think if they want Hawkmoon to stand up to Ace of Spades and all these other guns, it needs a catalyst because one, it needs to generate orbs. I mean, Jesus, that's a very important thing at this point in the game, and that just brings up the problem with
all
Thorn. Attack
exotics
of Thorn
should
doesn't have
should
one.
generate orbs anyway. It shouldn't
Yeah,
be a catalyst thing. It should be all
yeah.
exotics.
They should
Right.
also have kill trackers. I'm so mad. Like I've probably had 10,000 kills on my last word, but nothing to show for it.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because it's like you want to be attached to these weapons, but you
Yeah.
can't be because we can have 40,000 kills like I do on my recluse, but I can't see how many kills I got with Ace of Spades. I
Yeah.
can't see how many kills I got with
Oh, you don't have the catalyst for
guns.
Ace.
Yeah.
I wonder where
Well,
that's from even. I don't remember.
I have the catalyst for Ace.
Yeah, but then it'll show your kills.
Yeah, once you get a catalyst for an
Yeah.
exotic, Trophy kills. Yeah.
But like Last Word, that's never had one.
Yeah,
you just
and
don't-
you know what the messed up thing is? In the files, Last Word does have a catalyst, and it has a
No.
name and everything. Like you know what it does. Like
Okay.
it's called a High Noon and all that, and it's like, but they just didn't put it in the game yet, and it's like,
Okay.
why? So I think my biggest thing with Hawkmoon, it needs 12 bullets. I think 8 is just way too low.
Mm.
Even 10, just an extra
Yeah.
couple. 'Cause if you miss 1 or 2 shots, you're not getting the max stacks. Max stacks 7,
Yeah.
which hunters can get if you wear a certain exotic, because it I don't know exactly how it works, but it does something like it keeps your charges going or whatever. It was all over Reddit on the day of release. Like, oh yeah, I'm trying out this exotic and it gets my
Well, that
charges
means it's gonna
going.
get
So
nerfed. There
probably,
goes that exotic armor. Let's just nerf another hunter piece of armor, because that's what Bungie seems to love to do right
oh,
now.
shut up.
What are your
But-
thoughts, John, on Hawkmoon?
I like it. I like the gun, but because I've got the gloves, I'm using Thorn a lot. So I ran with it a little bit, and yeah, I don't know. I'm more of a body shot person anyway. I don't have the skill to hit headshots with hand cannons. I can get amazing headshots with shotguns, as determined by me finishing more headshot precision kills with weapons with shotguns than anything else recently in this season. Let's run up to them with like duality and just go. Whereas you give me something that's supposed to do it, and I'm just like, I'm just shocking. But you give me a shotgun, and Becky was literally like, "How are you finishing these bounties with a shotgun?" I'm like, "Just don't ask, just don't ask." So,
Yeah,
you
feel
give me a scout rifle or something, and I'm just like, might as well aim at the hip, and I'll probably hit the head. So
Yeah.
But I like it, and the quest, it's going to be the quest, but it was awesome, and I'm looking forward to the rolls as well. I'm hoping that they'll kick off this week, because that will give me, depending what you have to do to get the re-roll.
You have to redo the mission. You replay the mission.
What, the last one?
Yeah, you replay.
Yeah, that's fine. And yeah, so chucking 10-15 minutes in there every week, try and get that roll is, I'm well up for investing that time in it. A question off the back of that then is, well, it's a two-part question. One, do you think they will do more exotics moving forward, or even current exotics allow you to re-roll them through challenges? And two, do you think it's a good idea?
No,
You
I
go
know.
Nick first. You start.
No, I don't think it necessarily sets off a trend, because I feel like that's a bigger part of the rework, sort of like paying homage to the way that the gun used to be, right? It has a luck element. So I feel like that's the whole thematic, that's the theme that they brought forward. That's how they did luck this time. So I feel like that's exclusive to this gun. And I don't feel like they should necessarily go in that direction. I feel like exotics should be, when you see an exotic, you know exactly what it is, and it has its own personality, and it allows them also, because whenever you make something random, you also have to like tone it down to the point where all the different variables are still gonna keep it balanced, and nothing can like break it. So they can just, I feel like, fine tune it more if they just make it a certain way.
Yeah.
It can work with this gun because its perk is only like benefits one shot out of all of them. So maybe like something, like opening shot, which affects the first shot, which would be a pretty nice combo. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I don't think it kicks off a trend as well. I agree with you on that. I think exotics need to be like unique. They need to stay as to what they are meant to be. But that doesn't mean like I don't like that they did this with the gun. Like
Yeah.
I think honestly, like, and it's not that I don't like the gun. I'm just reserving my judgment because I haven't tested it out with random rolls. But my thing is, this is really the only thing they could do with the gun. I think honestly they just couldn't figure something out. I think they legit in the meeting room were like, okay, we need to re-roll the perk, but we don't know what to do, so what do we do? And then somebody was like, random rolls, and everyone was like, that's fair, okay, let's do that. And that's not like an indictment on Bungie. I think literally this is the only thing they could do. So, and it's fine. I mean, it's interesting. I don't want this to kick off a trend. I really don't.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't want it to be either.
Yeah.
I really don't, because you're then going to get. It'll artificially inflate the loot pool, because,
Mhm.
and it'll take people away from the lack of legendaries, which, obviously they're going to be addressing that, which is great, but it will artificially take people away from that and go, oh, I really want to get this roll on, XYZ exotic, when that exotic's been perfectly fine or been perfectly bad for several years.
Yeah.
Tune the gun instead of tune the roll,
Yeah.
so. But I do like it on this weapon, as Nick highlighted. It fits with the personality of it. How they're going to tune that moving forward? Is the quest going to scale with us every season, every year? Will it stop at some point? They're things that hopefully they've thought of down the line. Is it always going to award a max level, like whatever your current level is? That's how the Gothic usually work, isn't it? If you complete, like, I could go and complete the Wrist Runner quest now, and it will give me a 1250 Wrist Runner, because that's how it works. But with the roles, what happens if they add new roles to the system? Are they going to add new roles to the pool of that, etc.? So I look forward to seeing. It's definitely an experiment that could backfire, but the community seems to like it. I've not seen really, apart from the usual negative Nancy's, I've not seen much negativity around it. It's more, can't wait to see which role I get. So
yeah. Well, if the most sought after role, like if the perks are already revealed and the most viable one seems like opening shot, then I don't think there's necessarily any risk of it breaking the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good. If you go on GG, I'm pretty sure is where they are, and there's some pretty cool perks like rangefinder, snapshot size.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah,
Rangefinder could be.
killing wind. Yeah, but there's some good perks. So,
Okay.
I think there's a high potential to get a couple Hawkmoons and test them all out and have different ones for different purposes, I guess.
One for Crucible, one for That's again, that's really good. Actually.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, and it gives people something to do, I guess, and that's what we all need. We need shit to do in this game. So this is going to give something for people to be looking forward to knock out when the week starts, So, but Nick, you never really told us your opinion on the gun. What's your opinions on the gun so far?
I think the side picture is weird. I'm still getting used to it, and I think the stats obviously are the best around, except for range, which I think is the deal breaker for me, because I've been playing a ton of Crucible, and I feel like range is like almost any other gun that I use has more range than this. So I just feel it very clearly. So I've used it some, and the perk, I disagree with you guys on the mag size, because I feel like when I play with it, you can't really, like, if you just use it as a mini game, you go around and try to get your precision hits in and go and bank on that last bullet and wait for a good target. It works like that, but in actual play where you just use it, I feel like the perk just activates more often if you have a smaller mag. It takes so long to get to the end of that magazine, otherwise you might be dead at that point. I usually don't survive 3 engagements.
All right, yes, you're not going to get 3.
So I'm never going to see that perk activate if it's a 12 mag. So
how about then the Catalyst gives you 1 additional in the chamber for it? So 8 mag, 2 bonus bullets, or 10 mag, 2 bonus bullets. So you get down to there, because the stack's 7. So
yeah.
So it could be because I think 12's too much. Yeah, I think 10 would be a good one, but 1 additional magic bullet would be good.
Oh, so 2 with the same damage, so it activates the perk on the second to last bullet.
On the last 2 bullets, yeah. So up it to 10. So for those that do survive a bit longer or are using it in PvE and are capping off the little enemies, and then you've got rid of the shield on the champion or whatever, and then you've got 2 bullets then to hit for 35,000, 50,000 damage or whatever, depending.
I think that's too strong in PvP. By far too strong.
What, the last 2 in PvP? Yeah. That's the thing. That's why, and a lot of games struggle with balancing PvE and PvP. World of Warcraft is a prime example where they'll go in and they'll nerf something because it's too powerful against real people, but against AI, it's perfect. But
Yeah.
then you are struggling, and I think that gun with two in the chamber, two of the perks would be good in PvE. But yeah, too powerful in Iron Banner and all that kind of stuff. So
Yes.
um,
You can do
nice
some
little segue
crazy
into Iron
damage
Banner
in
there.
PvE.
So,
Mhm.
nice little segue into Iron Banner there.
I could talk about Iron Banner. I've played a ton of it.
So you've been playing Iron Banner, as you just so confirmed.
Yeah.
I haven't played. I played one match so far. Um, so obviously,
I love
big
Iron Banner.
difference.
It's awesome. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't. It's not because like I can't stand Iron Banner. It's just like I don't have any loot in the Iron Banner that I could give two shits about. So I just don't feel like playing it when I'd rather just farm Mayhem for Stars and Shadow. It's just different
Your
priorities
rifle.
right now. Yeah, I would just want a fucking good roll on that rifle. But it's just a difference of priorities. It's not because I don't want to play Iron Banner. It's just like Iron Banner will come back around this season, but I'd rather just knock out because Mayhem's here. I'd rather just knock out this pulse rifle before that. But I work today, so it's like fuck. So I'm gonna try to grind for it before I go to work, and then grind
Mhm.
for it when I get home. But
Sorry.
um, but yeah, I
Sorry.
mean, we already talked about our lack of excitement over the armor set and like,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean like the Iron Banner itself isn't fun. So what are your impressions so far, Nick? And then we'll go to John after for the Iron Banner.
Well, as far as the loot, I think since I do want a good roll of the hand cannon,
Yeah.
I'm definitely in it for that loot specifically. Maybe I do enjoy normal Crucible. Like I already miss the like consistent damage numbers and like consistent, archetypes doing what they're supposed to do and all that stuff. So I don't necessarily need the light enabled PvP. There's been a ton of mercies. I feel like just every match goes to mercy. That's very quick. Like I would say it's pretty much as fast as Mayhem to knock out those matches. And yeah, despite the new freelance playlist, which is cool. So you can just queue in there and you won't get any teams. So that's nice. So anybody you play against is also just a solo player. So that's fantastic. But even so, like the matches have been so lopsided, like it pretty much mercy 99% of the time, 95% of the time. But yeah, I think it's I really don't like that they don't have any new loot. Like 2 repriced guns, repriced armor set. Just compared to the excitement we had anytime Iron Banner came out in a new expansion, you had a new sort of armor set. You had a completely new aesthetic to, to the last one. But this is weak, really weak. I've played I've played the hell out of it this week, despite
Right.
those problems. But I'm not saying it's where it should be.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, it's really disappointing to be honest. I mean, it's really frustrating because, you know, there's it's just like I don't understand. I don't understand how this happens because like I understand that the team is smaller. I understand that there's other things they're working on with the game. But at the same time, sometimes to me at least, and this is just me personally speaking, I'm not speaking for the podcast. I just feel like sometimes it's a bit disrespectful to the player base. Not like a slap in the face, but it's a little disrespectful to our time because like you're asking us to grind for the same fucking armor set for like this third time, second or third or fourth or fifth time. And it's just like I don't believe that they don't know this. I don't believe that they're caught off guard. Oh, there's not enough loot in Beyond Light? That's crazy. I don't believe that one bit because you knew that. You built it, you spent all this time making it, you knew how much content you were taking out. With the amount of content you're taking out, you need to fill at least 25-30% of what you're taking out at the very least. And So I just refuse to believe that they would be caught off guard by us not being excited for Iron Banner reprisal shit again and again and again and again and again, because they should know by now that everyone was so excited in Destiny 1 when new stuff would come out, new weapons, new armor, and it's all themed exactly to what it was. Like, if you take a look at Iron Banner guns in Destiny 1, between the releases, they were so different looking, and it was cool. And the problem with a lot of the Iron Banner sets in D2 is they're just not very well textured, they're not well detailed, they're kind of lazily put together. They're not really inspired by anything. They're kind of just like, So
Mm.
it's definitely really frustrating, and that's what really tries my patience sometimes, because it really annoys me, because I'm like, why do I give a shit? Like, I'm not gonna play it because there's other things I need to do in the game. But even if I had time to play Iron Banner, I probably still wouldn't play it because I'm just getting sick and tired of the same. And yeah, you can say, oh, you can put an ornament on it. That's not that's just denying the problem, because oh, you can just put an ornament on it. Oh, you can just put an ornament on it. Okay, but then you could say that for the Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard sets that we all don't like because they're all lazy. They're all the same piece of armor, just a slightly different texture. And if you say, oh, you can just put an ornament on it, that's not addressing the problem. It's just like
Mm.
putting some paint over it and going, yeah, see, it's fine, brand new car, but it's not. So I'm sure there are people who would like it.
Yeah.
That's great, but
So
address the problem.
yeah, that brings out the other thing they were talking about in the rewards update also, which like armor in general right now is if you have your stats, just I guess for transmog purposes, like once again the aesthetic you can change, but like what should they do to make acquiring armor interesting other than the looks? Like what do you think is the answer to like making a new armor set any like more interesting than the last?
I think the number one thing is to let your artists run free. I think
So in
that's the
terms of
most
looks,
important thing. I
sure,
think looks honestly,
but
like, obviously stats and all that are important, but I think looks are very, very important in this game. I mean, it's not like other RPGs where, like, in Division, yeah, your look is kind of important, but the number
yeah,
one thing in that game is your stats and your perks. But the problem is Destiny's not advanced enough on that level.
mm,
Destiny armor doesn't have perks like that. It doesn't have like 12 different perks it can roll with that you can put on it that changes the whole way you play. And that's okay. That's fine. Like, those games don't need to be the same. But Destiny's armor isn't on that level. It's more so what's your stat roll? And that's pretty much it. So
yeah,
it's not a bad thing. It's just, let's be honest. Let's be honest right here. Division is a very not casual game, and Destiny is way more casual. That's not a bad thing. But for people that really care about that kind of stuff, you're not going to get it right now. You're just not. Like, the game's not there yet, you know.
yeah. So that's what I was getting to with the armor update because they were talking about in the rewards thing how they were looking at making acquiring armor more interesting, and I feel like in a way they're saying like because they said maybe getting a new piece of armor will change the way you play. Like that's how they started out in D2, right? Where you had specific perks. You had to get a different armor piece to like have, I don't know, traction. You would need to find an armor piece with heavy ammo finder or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they're kind of maybe harkening back to that now. Like, are they gonna go back to having static things on specific armor pieces, or like how they do it in the Division, right?
Yeah, I
In Division,
mean,
you have to get a
yeah.
specific perk on a yeah.
Well,
You
in
can reroll
Division,
stuff there
it's a little
also.
complicated. In Division, there's three different perk, like, stat rolls, I guess is what you could say. Like, it might roll, let's say you're farming for a specific foundry. So in Division, there's foundries, and those foundries all specialize in different things. So, like, if you want, so let's say I need critical hit. Like, I'm making a critical hit, critical damage build. Okay, so I need to go to this mission today and farm it and farm it and farm it and farm
Yeah.
it. And I'm looking for Providence defense gear. So like Providence defense specializes when you have 3 pieces. It'll specialize. It'll give you 10% critical hit damage, 10% critical hit chance, and 10%, I believe it's rifle damage or something. But
Yeah.
like it'll give you that, and then a piece of armor will roll with like 3 perks, like stats. And then it also, if it's a chest piece, a backpack, or a mask, it'll roll with a specific trait. And there's like 12 traits or something like that. And you can re-roll it, but when you re-roll your armor, you can only re-roll one thing. So you can either re-roll one of those stats or you can re-roll the perk. And I'm
Yeah.
saying like Division's not a perfect game in the slightest. Holy shit, is it not a perfect game? But that's where I'm hoping Destiny can get when it comes to armor. Like I want it to eventually get to that point where it's like it's not just, oh, what's your stat roll? Ah, it's shit, delete it. But I want to get to a point where it's like, oh, I could make this work. And like we have that with mods in a sense, but like I like being able to have like a set perk on the armor that it does, and then it has some traits, and then it has stats. Like, but that's just like the nerd in me wanting this game to be a hyper advanced RPG, and I know it's not there, and I know it's not going to be there for a while, and that's okay. But growing up, those are the kind of games I played, so like I love that. But it's not for the casual audience. But John, what are your opinions on all this? I want to hear what you have to think or have to
You're
say.
muted. Yeah.
So going back to Iron Banner, I've enjoyed it. To be fair, I only played it up to Thursday, and then I've been playing Cyberpunk since then. So, but I did all the quests. So I went through, did all the quests, get the kills with certain weapons, catch so many zones, get super kills, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, really enjoyed Iron Banner. Yeah, there's a lot of Mercy. Less Mercy, I think, at the beginning of the week. Maybe there might have been more of the weekend because, maybe higher skilled players will play in them because they're off work or whatever, or off school. But there's definitely a lot of Mercy or a lot of like chain triple captures. So like the zones would be free, and then all 3 would be taken again, and you'd be like, oh. And then sometimes it'd be the other way around. You would be on a team that's then capturing, all 3 quite quickly. So it swings roundabouts. But I always enjoy Iron Banner. It's I feel the most skillful in Iron Banner because I'm playing with the ability that I have. It's not somebody that's only level 2 on the season passes can kill me because everything's equal. It's a reward for the effort I've put in to get to where I am. And especially when I beat somebody higher than me, because that was the bounty, wasn't it? All the bounties, or 3 of the 4 bounties, were kill people higher level than you. So
you get more faster progress. It doesn't require it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't kill people higher than me. No, I definitely didn't kill people higher than me because then they'd absolutely stomp me, and I'd be like, oh, you're like 1269, and I'm well, not 1269, but like they're like 1250, and I'd be like 1247 or whatever. So it was good. I did enjoy it. On all the stat roll stuff, yeah, they've got to do something. So whether it's there's a chance, say you get an armor piece, and there's like a 1 in X number of chance of it rolling like triple affinity. So it comes, so you can equip any mod, so any solar, void, arc mod, something like that, or you get a double affinity. So same piece, same stat rolls, but you can equip 2 of the 3 mod types. Just little things like that would then go, actually, I can run in there, and maybe you'd be overpowered because you can run, this solar mod here, and then you can run this arc mod there. But that then makes you unique. That makes your character carry something unique and bring something different to the table.
Counterpoint, wouldn't that make even more armor pieces instant instrumental? Because eventually you're just going for those, and everything that doesn't have that is useless.
But you start off with single, so once you're fully equipped out in single, if you're full void gear or you mix and matching, and then you get all that, and then you move on to say Nightfall 1220 and above has a chance to drop dual affinity, then that level of content, and then 1280, so Grandmaster level stuff or hard mode or whatever, then has a chance to drop triple affinity, but then Pinnacles have a chance to be triple affinity. Just there's got to be something. We're only spitballing, but there has to be something that can be done to go.
Mhm.
Oh, oh look at you. They ain't got transmog or whatever. They're running around in like they're running around in this gear from Zavala that looks shocking. But actually, they can equip any single mod in this game that they want.
Mhm.
That makes it powerful. That makes it worthwhile running strikes again and again and again and again at the chance of getting that drop. So beyond that, without a full restructure like they did with Armor 2.0, I don't know what they can do.
Mhm.
So, and we don't want Armor 3.0, do we? Because look how it just they'll spend 2 seasons fixing it if they redo it. So.
I think they're kind of doing that with their raid specific armors. Like now you have a raid armor piece has like an extra slot for raid mods and stuff like that. So I think that's cool how you make it unique to the thing where you actually have to go into the raid and get them and it'll like improve subsequent runs. Like you'll have an easier time.
But that perk doesn't work outside the raid, does it?
No.
No. So it's good for that content. But if you get boosted through something and you get something with taken gear on it, and then you primarily run Nightfalls, you've got a dead slot.
Sure. But then that incentivizes making a specific, like let's say you had a Nightfall armor set.
Yeah, if they did that, then they need to bring in wardrobes so you can go right, save a preset, Nightfall, preset raid. Because if not, you're going through and you're just changing gear, and if you forget to change gear, you're then locked into equipment, and you're like, oh, because so.
But what's the point of having several armor sets if you're only going to have one in the end?
No, so if you're running that, if you've got a Nightfall set and you've got a raid set, you're going to switch between those depending on what content you're doing, aren't you? So that's what I mean. So have a wardrobe. So again, World of Warcraft has it for transmogging, and other games probably have it as well, where you just go to the transmog person, and you go, right, I want to wear, and you've named it like, I don't know, Assless Chaps, and you click it, and whatever you're wearing, it's that gear is set, and it could be that for this. You put Nightfall status, so you equip it, and it equips your status spec for you and your Nightfall specific gear that you want to run Nightfall with. You go to raid, you have solar raid again, solar spec.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it that in Dim now, but
you can. But until I met you, I didn't use any of that. So I represent that player base where it's great that it's there, but if I could just little icon at the top of the screen, three sets, and I just click set 2, and that's my Crucible set.
I agree.
I'd much rather do that. So
100%.
if they were going to do something like that, Nightfall, Crucible, Dungeon, etc. sets, they would need to support that with people going, actually, it's worth changing all this gear. Because I don't change any of my gear. I run the same gear for everything. All I do is change mods now and again if I'm running something that's a bit more difficult. So, and I'd like to have a Crucible set. Because in my head, I go, right, this season I'm going to have a Crucible set. I'm going to have a Nightfall set. And I'm going to have everything else set. The only thing I change regularly is my Ghost. That's it. So yeah, I would love the ability to pick 3 sets and just swap between them. So. Give it to me, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is in Division. You can build like a loadout, and you can have
loadout. That's the word I couldn't think of it. Yeah.
And Destiny's just not there. First of all, in Division you can have 150 things in your inventory. Destiny's not there yet, so I mean, Destiny's gonna need a whole revamping of the inventory alone to eventually reach that point for loadouts and stuff. Because right now it's already. You play nonstop for a day and you have to go to the vault because like it'll fill up so fast. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting viewpoint and we'll see how it develops. But I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about what we saw yesterday in that video I sent you? What do you guys think about if for viewers who don't know, Unknown Player put out a new video. And he addresses some interesting points. Like obviously, he addressed something that I didn't notice at the first time I did it. When Aramis, when you defeat her, you actually destroy the machine on her arm that was enabling her and other Fallen to control stasis because they were not chosen, and that's why she froze, even though she's not dead. And that's a cool little detail. And I feel shitty because I never saw it. I didn't see it. I didn't notice. So I feel bad because I know the art team and all that. Like they all specifically put that in there, and I just didn't see it. And I feel bad because I have so much respect for what they do. But yeah, so he talks about that, and then he also talks about, and this isn't really a spoiler because if you just go to the tower and take a left, you can see it. There's construction happening on the old tower. It's not smoking anymore. It's clearly being rebuilt. And his big thought was we're probably possibly going to move back there, and how this tower is really not that great. This tower's fine. I definitely miss the old tower. I think most Destiny players that play Destiny 1 would be like, yeah, the old tower's better. But I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? You know, I sent that to you guys just to see what you guys think.
So a point on the tower. I didn't notice it either. And I'm sure there's an answer out there, and I've probably discovered the answer some point throughout Destiny 2. But are we sure that's the old tower? Because isn't there 7 towers all around the city, or is it more than?
That is the old tower.
Is it definitely 100% the old tower?
I'm pretty sure the entire community has agreed that is.
That's fine. Tower. Yeah, if it is, yeah, if it's in law, because the community we can agree what we want. We can agree that Luke Smith is God. Doesn't mean that he is. If that's categorically, well, yeah. If it's categorically the old tower, then that's amazing. Or are we just rebuilding the old city? Because for me, imagine us rebuilding the old city. Not saying we're going to go visit it, but why would we? Because that entire area was decimated, and we went underground, and we went through mountains and everything, and then we're just going to move back next door. Again, I've probably seen the answer, but it's been that long since the Red Wall campaign and everything that I just
I don't remember exactly where I would have seen that. That's exactly it, but they have the area in the game.
Because did we go there on a mission as well? Wasn't there a quest or an exotic or something like that we went on as well to go?
Yeah, I mean, the Outbreak Perfected mission took
place
there.
Yeah,
0 hour,
and the whole Red War campaign starts there and stuff like that. So
yeah, I know that. But yeah, that's it, because that obviously said that in the video into the assets are there for the tower, so which makes sense. They've got the assets, just high refinement to put out what the fires. They'll be fine. A little bit of char here and there. So, all good. If that is it, amazing. Either way, it's a great bit of environmental detail that he's caught, because I run in, slide over to Banshee, get my quest, slide over to get my quest.
You never notice.
I don't go, oh, look at that.
Look at that.
I just don't do that. It would be. I want to return to the old tower, and this is this ties in with something I was going to bring up. So Nick can say his bit on the tower, etc. But a potential answer to this as well is so again, as mentioned earlier, somebody was theorizing something about a certain weapon, but they're also theorizing about Crow, that we're all like, oh, maybe he's going to be the next one to Vanguard. Somebody was like, what happens if he's going to be the next speaker? Because he's being spoken to through dreams, isn't he? He's getting messages from the Traveller, and they're like, well, there's no real speaker room in the new place. So what's the old tower got? It's got its own dedicated speaker area. So, and his whole exactly. I was the same. I
never thought of that. Holy shit!
It would be cool. That would be really cool.
And the way his voice actor speaks, he's all like this, and he's. Yeah, I think he could pull that off, and he needs a dedicated space to do it. And then we can get
true speaker.
And then we could get. Yeah. Well, we don't categorically know that the old speaker was never spoken to, do we? He said, that's the thing, he doesn't speak to me, but he's got to have communicated with him somehow. Otherwise, that's just been a massive lie for decades. That the speakers have never been spoken to.
Well, that was the point. It was a massive lie. That's why it was a crazy revelation, because he lied to maintain control, partially because he was a control freak. And if you read the comics, which we all have our opinions of the comics, there's some that are really good and some that are like whatever. But the whole point is like, yes, he wanted control because he was a bit of a control freak, but also it was to maintain order for the city to survive. So he lied.
I always was under the assumption that he had been spoken to, but it was more him interpreting stuff. So like he'd have a dream, whereas these dreams have been full on, bang on to the point. Go to this place and there's something there, which is next level, isn't it? Absolutely next tier. So I'm like, I can get behind that. And then Drifter can become the officials. Hunter Vanguard, then, can't you?
I second this theory. I really like this theory. I would love Drifter would be awesome as a Hunter Vanguard.
Drifter is the official Vanguard, and then and then Crow's the speaker. I was like, really cool. Holy shit!
So I would really like that. I think that community would go crazy with that. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. The man that killed Cade Six is then the man that we listen to for direction. How would Zavala take that?
I think that's poetic, actually. Like, he has to atone for his sins.
Isn't he? He doesn't know what he's done, but he's like, whatever I've done, I'm sorry for it. If people hate me this much, I am sorry.
Yeah.
That takes a big man to, obviously, none of us have ever, I guess, have been in that situation where we've gone, I don't know what you're about, but I'm sorry for it. The writing and the voice acting.
That's a good point. Because that's strength of character if you can, like, just take someone's word for the fact that you've done wrong.
Yeah.
You know? And
you killed Nathan Fillion, man.
Genuinely sorry, despite, like, not knowing.
Yeah. I love his character.
This week, I've grown to really like his character, the Crow. Because prior to that, it was, he had one kick-ass scene where he knocked out a knight, and then he's just stood there for 2 weeks going, I know it's some wires sticking out of glint. Don't know what that's all about. It's a bomb, mate. It's a bomb. All right. So, whereas this week, it's just getting to see where he lived, getting to see the story through the bits. Again, all the way from literally his toilet to the knife, the hive sword, and then I'm pretty sure. And I asked this question and I didn't get an answer for it on Reddit, so I was like, when you walk in on the right hand side, there is what looks like a mural made of the Dreaming City. It's all black, so it looks like he's gotten dirt or chalk or like charcoal or something like that, and he's drawn out a memory because it looks like the Dreaming City, but it's all black and smudged. So even though it's mold, but I'm pretty sure people can see the Mona Lisa in or Virgin Mary in toast. I can see the Dreaming City mold on a wall. So, just that bit alone, those lore bits from there made me go, I need to know more about this character. Not Aldrin Sov, I need to know more about Crow. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I like that there's a lot of Twitter threads right now that are saying, stop, he's not Aldrin anymore. He is Crow. And I second that. I'm like, we have to stop. Because here's the thing, and I know it's just a game, but I very much feel this, like, when somebody's trying to truly atone for what they've done, you need to stop bringing up the past. You need to stop holding them back. So with Crow, I definitely believe I'm with the people that are like, he's not Aldrin, he's Crow. He's atoned for his sins. He's moved on. He's a new person, and I want to see where he goes. Like, I want to support him in that journey. Oh, I just want to give him a hug. I feel so bad, But that's the thing. Like, I think this is such an underrated point of the season, and it's just because, like, there's a lot of things going on this season that people aren't crazy about, but they are crazy about this thing and that thing. And this is like something that's like sinking under the radar a little that people aren't really thinking about. And he's just so well done this season. His story is so interesting. And I definitely would have, this is just a nitpick, I would have liked if at the end of the Hawkmoon mission, if he like transmatted in and like held the gun and like spoke for a second, like says what he said in the audio and then like handed it to you or something, like, here, like, this isn't meant for me, this is for you, or something like that. Like, that would be really cool. But it's just a nitpick, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, that theory you have is like amazing. That would be so cool if that happens. Oh my god, I would nerd out. But
we need one. We need a Hunter Vanguard, but we need a speaker longer.
We need a speaker really bad. We need a leader. Without the speaker, we've seen that the Vanguard has fractured big time and made some questionable decisions. And if we want to stand against Savathun and all these enemies, we're going to need a speaker to bring everyone together, especially when we read that lore book and we see the devastating battle that happens that goes badly. Maybe if we had a speaker, maybe he could have helped make the plan better. Maybe he could have helped keep everyone under the umbrella, because that's really his job, so to manage quarreling personalities. So, because I just don't think that Zavala is there. Like, Zavala is just not there, especially now. He's gotten a lot more unhinged. He's gotten a lot more aggressive and a lot more, like, distrustful.
I think the
yeah.
revelations with Rasputin really
Mhm.
it changed him a lot, didn't it? You know, he was all like, "Oh, Rasputin, it was the enemy," blah 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 blah, and then he saw the messages and he realized he was trying to help us, and you know, he saved the tower and stuff like that. And there's the traveler did nothing during that time, and he's
Yeah.
like,
Midlife
"Why did
crisis.
it take a machine to save us when you're right there in the sky? We would
Mhm.
have been dead. We would have lost countless numbers if you'd not done something. If
Yeah.
if Rasputin didn't do something." So
Yeah, I definitely think it's interesting where his character is going. It's definitely going somewhere not great. But I'm really curious, and I'm very much anticipating that cutscene we saw when the season was first announced, when we saw Zaval with the Cabal, and I'm assuming some Fallen might have been there. I really want to see that. I really want to know where that is going, because we read that lore book. We all really enjoyed it.
Mm.
So we saw that cutscene for like 2 seconds. So I really want to see where that goes. But what do you think, Nick? On this?
Of the lore bit.
Just Crow and the lore bit and whatnot, speaker and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Whatever your
well,
thoughts are.
like yeah, my mind was blown about the possibility of a speaker, of a new speaker. As far as the greater like story with Crow and everything, I've got to confess, like that's probably taking a little bit of a backseat for me
Yeah.
so far. I haven't like paid super much attention to that, but if they're actually gonna do something with him, then yeah, all for it. I agree with you that it's probably the best written character in this season, this expansion so far.
Yeah.
Not much to say beyond that.
Right. Now, I believe that we should probably quickly talk about the Dawning post that they did, because we definitely just glossed right over it without actually talking about it.
Yeah, so many things to go over.
Yeah, there's just so many things coming. So I'll just dig right into this 12 real quick, and I'll just rattle through it, and then we can give our thoughts at the end. But 6 new legendary weapons are coming to Ritual Activities: 2 for Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible.
Yes.
In addition to the weapons above. So they didn't say what those weapons are going to be, but hey, more legendaries is a very good thing. So in addition to these weapons, Nightfall Strikes are getting 3 unique weapons: the Palindrome, the Swarm, and Shadow Price. We all love those weapons.
Yes.
We're all excited for those weapons. Not much more needs to be said. Everybody loved those weapons.
Yep.
So, DDoS protection for console players, season 13. So next season, that's very big. It's been honestly way too fucking long for that not to be in the game. So this is great. This is gonna be really, really helpful, because I remember when this destroyed my fucking internet last season, and I'm never gonna get over that. But it is what it is, and I'm glad it's coming. Transmog will be coming with season 14. A little late, but that's fine. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure it's not easy for them to make that happen, so that's fine. The Vault of Glass is coming in year 4. They didn't say when in year 4, but we've already seen the Venus teasers.
Didn't they say Vault of Glass was next season?
Yeah, but they said year 4. It just says year 4.
Oh, I thought it said. Okay.
I think when Luke did that initial talk on the chair,
I meant in this post that they put out. I thought they said it was singing. I'll open it up. You carry on. I'll have a look.
Yeah, I think when Luke was doing the initial Beyond Light interview, and he was sitting on the chair with the other guy. Sorry, other guy. Can't remember your name. Mark Noseworthy. Sorry. I think he said spring, but so I think a lot of people are assuming probably March or April. A crossplay is coming in 2021 between consoles, or is it generations?
No, everything probably.
Well, if it's everything, then that's fantastic.
Well, I mean, the thing that they've said so far, when they talked about crossplay during that sit down with Shadowkeep, I think it was pre-Shadowkeep, they said like crossplay is gonna be like proper crossplay. It's gonna be between PC and consoles and all the works.
Well, that's
so maybe
fantastic.
maybe it's gonna be like staggered. Maybe they do consoles first and then do PC later. I don't know, but that's what they said. They're aiming for a full crossplay between everything.
Well, then I'm so hyped for that.
I read that it was the strikes coming next season, and my brain had merged that and Vault of Glass together. But yeah, so
I'm really, really hyped for crossplay. I know a lot of people are hesitant because they think it'll mean hackers are going to get insane, but because they're putting in DDoS and all this stuff, I think they're doing that. They're bringing it in, and I think crossplay is going to come in 20. I think it's going to come in season 14 because they haven't said season 13 for it. I think it's going to come in season 14. I think they want to put the DDoS in, test that, make sure everything's Gucci before they do crossplay officially.
Well, that'd be April, May time, wouldn't it? So.
I think so. Yeah. So season
Yeah.
14, I assume, is like June. So yeah.
Yeah,
This
it's
one
gonna be
fin-
interesting.
This one finishes on the 5th of February, I think, or 9th of February, one of the two. So yeah, it'd be March, April, May. So it'd be May, June time. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the DDoS thing that wasn't gonna do anything against cheaters. I mean, against
No,
hackers. But
Yeah. But it'll help.
Yeah.
I don't know what the plan internally is to prepare for crossplay. I'm sure they have a plan.
Hopefully,
but
they'll
yeah.
allow you to disable it. That'd be a big thing, won't it? Because some people won't want to play against mouse and keyboard players. Some won't want to have that
Yeah.
risk of hacking and stuff. So
Yeah. And then after that, Legendary Master Lost Sector rotation will be expanded to include the Moon Lost Sectors, and there will be
That's
3
awesome.
new pieces. Woo! 3 new pieces of exotic armor to chase. Very hype
Love
about
it.
that. I love me some exotic armor.
that's next season as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's not even that far away. But my only problem with this, if they want to introduce the moon sectors, does that mean we can get the moon guns again, please? Just
I wouldn't hold my
please?
breath.
Please, let me get
They
loud
need to do
lullaby. Oh my god. And then Fallen Saber and Devil's Lair coming next season. We all knew this though. Let's see. They said that with the bounties from the companion app and the prophecy dungeon made their return. That's cool. I don't really care about like
No.
prophecy. It's fun, but I don't really have a reason to play it right now.
I haven't run it this week. Have you run it, Nick?
No, not
I've
this.
run it. No.
Did you guys see the Dawning trailer?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so it looks like
It's
so
pretty
many
good.
awesome things.
It looked
Yeah.
really cute. It was really cute.
I want to go to the hat.
shelter. So yeah, right. I want the elf ghost. It's so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
The armor's cool looking. I still prefer like sci-fi armor and all that, but the Dawning armor always looks really good. Especially, I think Titans usually have the best Dawning armor with all the horns and
Mhm.
shit. It just looks really
It's
cool.
alright, 'cause nobody
Yeah.
plays Titan, so.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, the Dawning armor looks cool.
Yeah.
The fusion rifle looks interesting. I don't know what the perks are, but it definitely looks cool.
Yeah.
It's a
That's the
void.
only weapon, isn't it? From
It's Aaron Till 2.0. That's basically what it is. It's a high impact void. So, cookies. It shows a lot of screenshots of the Dawning. I think this is the prettiest Dawning they've ever done, especially the
Mhm.
tree. Holy
Yeah.
shit, that is gorgeous. Glacial Chasm is the new legendary fusion. They said it's just fun to say. It definitely looks fucking gorgeous. I don't think I want to put a shader on it. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous to look at. But the thing they talked about, the new ship is the first ship that you'll be able to customize the engine streams, the spawn effects, and a new animated shader unique to the ship. Very interesting.
you could really enjoy the event, can't you?
Yeah, so that's going to be really interesting. I was nervous that the ship would be ugly and then I wouldn't care, but the ship is actually incredibly sexy looking. It looks like a fighter jet. So I really like that about it. Doesn't say the name.
Engine streams.
As the community generates Dawning Spirit by completing activities, you'll be able to progress a special community pursuit with your cookie skills and then find new gifts waiting for you under the tree. There will be some fun at the store as well. Merrymaker and Glee Barrage weapon ornaments will be silver only probably, and Happy Trails will only be for silver, I think. But they showed us like the sparrows, and they showed us the ghosts, which are cute. There's a new ship that actually looks really freaking cool. Wow. And then they talked about some of the hotfix. So like Warlock Penumbral Blast was buffed. So projectile range increased by 37%. Minimum distance to cast ranged melee reduced by 32%. This is probably a good fix.
Yeah.
I've heard some
And
things.
they've gone live today with their hotfix. So
Yeah, they're live today. I've heard things about warlocks having some problems, so that's pretty cool that
It's
they
good. It's good they've
it.
addressed it because it's clearly not as important or on the scale of Macrocus. So it's nice that they've looked at the little guy and gone, we can do something about that for you. So.
Yeah. But this is cool. Speaking of incentives, now that we've hit $1 million in the donation stream, they're releasing Destiny lore readings by special guests. So Giacomo
Oh,
Gioniotti,
from
so
yeah,
sorry, totally
yeah,
screwed.
he's from Grey's Anatomy. Yeah,
Yeah,
Deluca. Yeah.
Morla Gorondona, that's Eris Morn. Erika Ishii, that's the new Anna Bray, whom I think she's done a good job. You know, she's done a pretty good job as Anna Bray. It's taken me time to get used to the new voice, but I think she's doing a good job. Peter Jessup, who is personally my favorite, he plays the Exo Male Guardian, so he's obviously god tier.
Yeah.
I think Exo Male has the best voice of the Guardians in the game. So Neil Kaplan is Dominus Gall, underrated voice actor. Dominus Gall, I think, had a fantastic voice actor, especially that last scene that I just can never get out of my head where he's like, and I will become legend. Oh my God, so good. They need to find a way to use him some more. Oh, please. He's so good. Nyambi, Jay Dispersia from The Good Fight, Brandon O'Neill, Olin even though they should change that probably to Crow now. Um, Moira Quirk, who plays the emissary, the Exo Stranger / Orin. It's all the same thing. And Zara Fazal, she plays Guardian, Destiny 2. I don't know that it just says Guardian, so I don't know. I'm sorry, they don't say. So yeah, other than that, it's just like Trials of Osiris information, which is expected to return on the 18th. Don't get your hopes up because we don't know what's going to happen. And these are just some updates. You can read these on the 12th.
Yeah, because he said with Trials, there is it the first X amount are going to be all weapon based, and it'll be armor based the last few weeks or something like that to make up for the delay.
They said during the first 4 weeks, the flawless chest.
Yeah.
So during the first 4 weeks, the flawless chest will drop an adept weapon. The 5th week will drop an armor piece, with subsequent weeks switching the rewards back and forth between weapons and armor.
That's it, yeah.
Adept weapon mods will drop each week. And then after that, it's just some updates, some hot fixes. Known issues is at the bottom. There's quite a bit. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, it's there. And then obviously movie of the week, some art that's pretty freaking good. Somebody did an art piece of Crow and Glint that's actually really good. I'm going to share that on Twitter. So if you're interested, I'm going to retweet that because that's really, really impressive. And somebody also on Instagram named OHLAC3D. If you're on Instagram, check them out. They did an amazing art piece of Lumina versus Thorn, light and dark. So that's really cool. Let's shout out these artists. So yeah, I mean, it's a good TWAB. It's a good TWAB. It's straight to the point, which I like. Some good stuff that's being featured. And yeah, I mean, you guys have any thoughts on what we just went over real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine trying to juggle all these things, like having, task lists internally for this many things. Like, it's mind-boggling.
They said it's going to be the last stuff for the rest of this year, isn't it?
They're going to go on holiday soon. So
yeah, which is respectful. Respect that.
Yeah, they've been working it feels for us we're only getting started with the new stuff, but they've been working on this stuff like the whole year, and now they're like, oh, finally it's done.
2 weeks off.
So some stuff in the known issues, also FPS issues on PC are being looked at and stuff like that, which pertain to me personally for at least a while longer until I get a PS4. I mean PS5. And what else? Yeah, so all around good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good 12. So and it's nice. Genuine. I know I jested about the little guy getting some fixes with Warlocks, but it's not quite back to where it was. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. The biggest thing for me is the intercept range on the tracking. Is you'd fire it and then it just goes straight, and you're like, the guy's there, track the guy. So hopefully that will fix. So hopefully that's something that on paper it's fixed, but we'll see how it looks this evening when I run some Crucible. So
Yeah, I definitely yeah, it's a good TWAB. Definitely enjoyed what we learned from it, and I look forward. I guess I'm looking forward to the dawning. I always like the Halloween event more, usually because the Halloween gun is always pretty cool and the armor is more interesting to me. But I still think the dawning's very good. So like it'll be fun. It'll be good fun. I'm gonna have some more days to actually play now because I'm off of
Good.
my other job for 4 weeks because of the lockdown. So I will be able to play more and give my opinions on certain things. But
Nice.
hoping to start streaming in the spring. So we'll see what happens.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good TWAB. It's a good week. Hawkmoon's interesting. I hope we're looking forward to being able to get the random rolls next week, and then we can all give our opinions on Twitter about it, and we can compare our rolls on Twitter for the listeners.
My roll's bigger than your roll. Oh wow!
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I've got a big range.
Oh wait, I wanted to get your guys' opinion real quick. What do you guys think of the Hawkmoon ornaments in the ever?
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I didn't buy either of them. I like what the gun is. It doesn't stand out for me. So
Yeah, because
I like the bony effect one. That was nice, but again, it's not worth dropping the silver on. So
I could consider the one with the black one with the wings, but maybe the other one not so much.
I'm getting mixed responses about these ornaments. I think the problem with the Feeling Lucky one is that it makes it look like Last Word. It makes it look like the Last Word ornament you can get.
Really?
Reverse. Yeah, it makes it look very similar to that Last Word ornament where it makes the Last Word look huge.
well, they'll probably be on.
I didn't see that.
On Bright Dust in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
it rotates, doesn't it? So I'll grab one then, but they're not worth silver. So I'm going to probably spend some silver on the Dawning because I want the emotes and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not usually a big silver spender. So
I don't think the Last Word ornament's even in the Eververse anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Hawkmoon ones right now. Like I have all the Last Word ornaments. That wasn't my association right away.
It looks like, to me, it looks like the Laconic ornament in a sense.
Okay.
Which I think is like, like I don't want it to look like another gun. I want it to stand alone. So like I think the wings one is cool. Again, I'm with you guys. I don't know if I want to spend silver on it. I'd rather just buy from. I have a surplus of Bright Dust because I've been very calculating when it comes to what I want now.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I have mixed responses I've seen on Instagram and Twitter that people have on the winged one. Like some people are like, it just looks weird, but some people are like, I think it looks really cool. I just don't want to spend silver.
Well, the thing is, I've seen a couple people play with it, and it feels like it obstructs your view even more. Like just the default one has these two like spokes on the sides, like what you're looking through, right? And I feel like sometimes when you're shooting far away opponents, they can almost obscure your view. So and the wings just add to that. So I don't know if I'd use it anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get a video that shows, because usually before I buy an ornament, I'll check on YouTube of somebody playing with it.
See.
So so there's a video, listeners, by Cheese Forever. Of course it is. It's by Cheese Forever. And he has a video of showing him comparing it to the regular gun and doing gameplay with it, so you can see if you're down with that. I've definitely been hesitating from buying ornaments of certain guns now that just change the color or something, because it's not really worth it in my opinion. Like I think an ornament needs to radically change the way the gun looks.
Yeah.
For me to consider buying it. So I definitely think that's important. So he's showing the gun, and if you look while he's aiming it, and I'll post this on Twitter for people to take a look at.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And it doesn't look terrible aiming down sights, but I can see what people are saying.
I mean, it just adds crap to like the sides where you're already like the sides are already in front of your opponent sometimes.
Yeah, so that's where I'm like, So, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's a good image right there.
Yeah, but we'll see.
What do you think? What do you think, John? What do you think of that?
Yeah, to me, I don't mind a bit of cosmetic on it, but also I'm not I'm not going to buy it anyway unless it's on Bright Dust, and then I'm really going to use the gun anyway. I'd have it more for anything that's associated with it, so if there's some lore associated with it, or just for the collection purpose.
Well, I think the lore, like, I think the point of the ornament is, like, there is lore behind it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's called Hawkmoon, but, like, is that meant to be... Yeah. Is that meant to be, like, a mix between, like, that and Lumina? I don't know. I can't really tell, to be honest. But
Lumina is the most beautiful gun in this game. It's incredible.
Yeah, too bad I never use it because I have
man.
reason to.
yeah. I try to find reason to use it. It's pretty fun in Iron Banner and 6v6, but...
Yeah, but if you go to Eververse Weekly, listeners, you can obviously check out what's coming in the Dawning ornament-wise, and I can tell you right now, save up your silver or your Bright Dust because Xenophage and Monte Carlo. Wow. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
They look pretty. So, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Deep Stone Podcast. We covered quite a lot of topics, and I think this was a good episode. I think we had a lot of fun talking about some of these things. A lot of theories and ideas. I would like that. I second that theory.
Nick's face was like...
that blew my mind. I was
blew his mind.
That literally was a revelation. I'm going to be at work, and I'm just going to be like, wow, can you imagine? Like, I'm just going to be thinking of that. Yeah. But, I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. But, thanks for joining me on this podcast, guys. And, I think we did a good job of making it work given the circumstances. Thanks for listening, and we'll get this out. I'm going to try to get this out today before the weekly reset. So we'll see what happens. But thanks again for listening, and thank you to John and Nick for once again joining me here.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Okay, guys.